rotator cuff is important to the movement of the shoulder and can be aggravated by a number of activities. Hi, I'm Rebecca Brayton and welcome to WatchMojo.com. And today our host Veronica went down to XFIT to learn more about the rotator cuff and what symptoms we should look for in terms of an injury.
So how does the shoulder work?
The shoulder is a ball and a shallow socket. It's very freely movable, which is why you can have a lot of injuries in the shoulder.
This part here, the shoulder blade part, is quite flat, but there's many muscles that are surrounding both areas that provide motion, stability, and the ability to do pretty much anything that you do with your arm.
Now, what causes tears in the rotator cuff?
It's more common when people are doing overuse, repetitive use in an overhead position. And if a rotator cuff muscle group isn't healthy, then this person can stand to get injured or torn. As well, rotator cuffs can get torn or injured just by a traumatic event. Maybe someone that's an athlete that's using their arm a lot, or that falls on their arm, or uses their arm to brace themselves as they get tackled, for example, or hit into the boards. Then you could just have a traumatic injury there.
Imbalance is another area where there could be an injury. If someone's only training their chest and their biceps, it's going to tend to have an improper movement in the shoulder and can cause a rotator cuff injury.
What are some rotator cuff symptoms?
Well, one major symptom will be difficulty in raising the arm up higher than the shoulder level. So the rotator cuff is really responsible for stabilizing and controlling the arm as a whole to reach up. So if you've got an injury there, that'll be tough. It would also be weak. You may have a bit of trouble to put your cereal box back up on the shelf.
When is it time to seek medical help?
If the pain persists anything more than sort of 2 weeks, then it's probably time to go see a doctor. If you can talk to your therapist or trainer and they can get it better in less than 2 weeks, then hopefully it's something that they can make go away. If it kind of continues, then maybe it's time to seek medical help.
What type of treatment would you get?
In an acute scenario, pain and inflammation is usually present and very bothersome, and it really cuts down on someone's function level. So trying to minimize that pain and inflammation is usually the first strategies. With someone with chronic injury, there'll still be pain and inflammation, but it just may not be as much. They may have some function, but it might have been function modified around the pain that had been there for a longer period of time. That's why it became chronic. So you still do want to address pain and inflammation, but it's also a very good time to be able to address mechanics, strength, flexibility, and try to correct why you're injured in the first place.
What muscles make up the rotator cuff?
There are four main muscles that make up the rotator cuff. There's the supraspinatus, infraspinatus, teres minor, and subscapularis. So those four muscles make up the rotator cuff and form a cuff around the head of the humerus connected to the shoulder.
What can you do to help strengthen your rotator cuff?
You want to treat it well, you want to address it, and it tends to maybe be a muscle that you don't really see, and someone doesn't really say, hey, you got a really toned rotator cuff, look at it. So it may not be for the purposes of aesthetics, but it's for the purposes of function and being sure that it stays healthy in the long run.
Equal balance of training the rotator cuff as well as other muscles around the shoulder, creating good strength, good flexibility, not just training those beach muscles, the chest and biceps that you see in the mirror. You want to train all the other muscles in the shoulder as well.
Thank you very much, guys.
You're welcome.
You're welcome.